Christian, it's been a long time.
Yeah, in a way.
In a way, I haven't seen you in such a long time, sir. What are you doing these days? What have you been watching?
So I just finished Ghost, Kamen Rider Ghost, and
I was gonna say with Patrick Swayze.
yes, that is a good Toku movie. Despite so apparently it's not well liked and like the Kamen
The
Rider
Patrick Swayze movie?
that too, but Kamen Rider Ghost was really fun. I liked it. It had really good movies to it.
Just to clarify, this is the one where they end up having like this guy who is tied to different characters or people from the past,
Yeah, so
like
like all
different.
the power ups come from historical characters.
Got it. That's what I was trying to think of. Okay,
And
yeah.
it's really cool to see how it's done. Like one of them is like Isaac Newton, and one of them is it's a little controversial, but like Robin Hood.
Robin Hood's controversial.
Well, I don't. He wasn't really a real person.
I mean, but it's all fiction, so whatever.
Yeah, but like the majority of them are all like real historical people. But it was a really good show. I really enjoyed it. It's like in three
Okay.
arcs, so it's like you have I forgot how many episodes between how many episodes, but there's three different like arcing stories in the whole season.
Okay.
Definitely a good show to watch.
And did you watch all that on Tokuzilla?
I did.
Represent.
Yes, sir. And have
I haven't watched anything like that recently in a while. I've been consumed by video games, not naming anything, Final Fantasy 16. But anyways, I haven't been able to watch anything other than an anime movie called My Neighbor Totoro,
it's a good movie.
which I'm not a fan of.
I know. I don't know how you don't like it, but it's very good.
It's mainly probably due to the fact that it's just straight up just a kids movie, and I know that a lot of people are in love with it and a lot of people are in love with Ghibli movies. So far it's been about 50-50 with me for the ones that I have seen. But with this particular one, I just could not get into it. Like, I tried watching the dub, and turns out I was actually like near the end by the time I was like, you know what, I'm not paying attention to this movie, I need to restart it
Yeah.
and put on the subs. If I had continued watching it, I think I might have had 10 minutes left, and I didn't even realize that. Um, and then I ended up rewatching it subbed, and this time I forced myself to pay attention, but I just could not get into it. Like, I thought the ending was decent for it, but the actual movie itself just it didn't hit with me.
You gotta watch King Olger. Oger. You need to finish up on that.
I'd rather watch King Folgers in Your Cup.
Folgers is good, but you should watch King Oger because it's getting better.
Well, since I am currently on vacation, that is something that I do intend to catch up on. I do intend to watch one other Ghibli film before I do anything else, and then I will catch up on King Oger.
It's very good. It's gotten better. It's getting spicy.
What do you mean gotten better? You mean it gets
It
only better and
it's
better?
all it does is get better. Yeah.
Okay, good. Because I was about to say there's no down point from what I remember.
It's there's a lot. I love how there's just a lot of story and it's like really good story to it.
Yeah, but you also love Jeremy Braccieri.
He's the best one.
I mean,
He's the best
I wasn't
Oger.
I wasn't denying that.
He's the best Oger.
I have seen the toys for the spider ogre or spider.
That's
God, I can't even
Tarantula
remember what they're
Knight,
called now. Yeah, what are their Zords called?
the Shoe Gods.
Shoe gods. Thank you. See, it's been such a long time since I watched it. I don't remember anymore. Yeah, I saw the actual toy to the tarantula shoe god, and man, that thing is beastly.
I
That
love
was
it.
actually like pretty cool. It was like, oh man, this reminds me of Beast Wars back in the
It's
day,
got
like when they had their giant ones.
oh yeah,
Ooh, that was cool.
it's got some of the best fight. Like that one, the Tarantula Knight's got one of the best fight scenes in these
Oh
episodes.
man, I can't wait. But we're not here to talk about King Odra today, are we?
As much as I want to, no, but
I mean, we'll get to a King Odra, episode soon. In a year or so.
whenever it's done, yeah.
Yeah, in a year or so. What are we here to talk about today?
More Ultra Q. Ugh.
Hey, hey, hey! It's not Ultra Q. It's Ultra Q. And I'll have you know, these were actually pretty good
They
episodes
weren't. They
today.
weren't too bad. I think. Well, two out of the three.
Hey, it's still a better
It
margin
was. It
than
definitely
what
was.
we've gotten recently.
Definitely a lot better quality of show we're getting now.
Absolutely. Let's just dive right into that first one, shall we?
The Garamond Strikes Back. God damn it.
I believe your very first words that you said to me, do we really need to have another episode with the Garadama and Garamon again?
There's such a goofy like design. Like they look like sticky shit.
They look like what if Sonic the Hedgehog was just a pile of shit, turned
What it
into a
is.
hedgehog. Explain to me what the Garamon is again,
So it's an
as like
alien.
a little recap from that other episode.
It's an alien creature from outer space that is like a hive mind from like one rock. So like one rock essentially, or like a meteor, controls it and teleports radio waves and keeps it alive. And then if you take some aluminum foil and wrap that rock, it kills them.
Okay, that's not exactly what happened in the other one,
But that's
though.
the most simple. Yeah, I mean, well, they put a wire mesh around the rock,
Right, okay, now I remember.
but it's the same
Yeah.
concept. You could just wrap it, cover it with a blanket. It's got to be aluminum or metal or something like that. But
Word of the wise is just wrap it up.
if you see a strange rock, wrap it up.
So, how did this episode unfold?
So it's like a heist, not a heist, but it's like somebody is trying to steal the little Tilsonite rock from the Astrophysics Research Center.
Hold up, no. He doesn't steal it.
Well, okay,
The rock escapes.
yeah. Well, he helps it escape. The rock is floating, so like he like picks a lock or something from like 200 feet away or some shit.
Now, just to back that up real quick, this is some guy who looks like he's kind of like this shifty looking character in like some sort of detective noir kind of show or whatever,
Yeah.
except he's pasty white. You could tell. It's so weird. And like he legit looks like he's wearing caked on makeup the entire way through.
Oh
It's
yeah, it's
very, very weird.
very weird. Yeah, the weird makeup choice.
And yeah, so like he's out there, he's watching for guards and shit, and then Tilsonite just opens up the safe and then just busts out while it's hanging off a string, just busts through the glass. Yeah, so that was really weird. But it sets the tone for everything else in this. Why did this person steal it? Like, did we get the information as to why did he do what he did?
I don't remember.
Well, that's at the very end. But anyways,
Was it?
um,
Oh,
kinda.
okay. Yeah, okay. I know.
Then Yuri-chan ends up calling Jun Majime and Ipe-kun, which was weird to me because where were they at the time? Were they at Majime's home or were they like at their facility? Because
Yeah, it was.
Majime was asleep and then Ipe just comes in wearing his PJs.
Yeah, I think they were asleep at somewhere, like at a house or some shit.
So are they roommates?
Probably.
I mean, more power to them. That's the best way for them to get to work together, I guess.
Yeah, it's easy. It saves money.
Especially considering all they do is ride around either in a freaking helicopter or car, which I want to talk about that car in the next episode.
Oh yeah.
So what happens next?
Is it bad? I've like really only just kept information that's just like interesting than some like plot points in these episodes.
A little bit, but it's okay.
Go ahead and continue.
So with this particular one, she mentions to the two ultrafile guys that the stone escaped, and so then you get back to the man in black. We're gonna call him that from now on,
Yeah.
and he decides that he needs to somehow get far away from Tokyo. And inside this, what appears to be, at least from what I was gathering, it looked kind of like either like a violin case or a very obscure looking guitar
It
case.
looked like a
And
guitar
inside
case.
is
Yeah.
right. And inside was the Tilsonite. And he has this weird looking remote. And as he's walking along, he sees this truck coming along, and he stops the truck with his remote, kind of like how the Tilsonite did, or not the Tilsonite. What was it? Balloonga did,
Oh yeah.
where it just zapped all the energy from everyone.
Yep. It took out. Yeah, it took out
It
all
was
the
very,
energy. Yeah.
it was very, very weird. And then it's like, huh? Oh my God, my truck stopped. That's weird. Hey, I need to get on your car. I know you're going to such and such place. It's like, oh, what was it, Haruna? Yeah, I'm going to Haruna.
Yeah.
I need you to take me there. Like, how do you know I'm going to Haruna? Just gets in the car and he's like,
Just
well, you can't get in there. But whatever, I guess I'll take you. It's so weird. It's so forceful.
Oh yeah.
So he gets in there, and as they're driving along, there's the news report that there's 4 Garadamas coming down. Which, if we remember, Garadamas are actually two meteorites.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not
Two.
four.
I was gonna
There's
say. Yeah.
two.
Where'd you get four?
There's 2 Garadamas, but there's 4 Garamon at the end.
Was there four? I thought I remember saying two.
There's 4. It's weird how that happened. There's 2 Garadama coming down, and from it emerge the monsters. They just immediately start destroying Tokyo. The first thing that I notice is that there's one that's outside this giant tower, and it starts using it almost like a toothpick.
Yeah.
And you can see from inside the tower, there's these people who are freaking out. They're actually inside the towers. I don't know if they're inside the base of the tower or if they're actually in the tower itself. But as it's like wobbling it left and right, the monster ends up like flinging itself backwards, taking the tower with it. I'm like, well, those people are dead. But there's a lot of destruction in this episode, which was surprising.
Yeah, I did like how it was like the set pieces were like a lot more destructible and everything looked a lot better than that original episode.
And the Garadamas, when they ended up coming down, you could definitely see the string that was attached to them or the wires
Yeah.
as they were flaming through the buildings. And you could see this long black line that's attached to them. I'm like, that's
Yeah,
they
you're starting to see those now.
yeah, yeah. I'm like, you could have edited that in post somehow.
Yeah, it's the 60s. They got to put shit
I
out.
guess. But it was still cool, the fact that it happened. And so as they're going through it, the guy who's the man in black, he ends up convincing this truck driver to stop off at this, I think it was like a rest stop, and then he ends up stealing the truck afterwards, right?
Yeah.
And so the Q file people, I'm
Q
gonna keep changing their
the
names because I
Q
don't really have a
file.
good name for the Q filers.
The
QAnon, Q filers.
QAnoners.
Yeah. No, I mean maybe we'll think about it.
No, definitely not.
They end up getting wind that the guy ended up stealing the truck and that, he could possibly be responsible for all this. We don't know. That was kind of a little weird.
Yeah.
So the police start chasing after him. He takes his guitar case and they start going after him. The police end up catching up to him. He ends up using his little device, and this was shocking. He ends up using his device to take all the guns away from the cops and
Yeah.
then shoots the bullets right back at the cops. Was not expecting
That
that.
was a cool scene. I liked it. It reminded me of like when Ironhide got everybody's guns in the first Transformers.
When Ironhide got the guns in the first
Yeah, when he
Transformers.
like used his magnet in the first one when Sector 6 came over.
Man, I just recently rewatched that, and I don't remember that at all.
So it's like around the bridge part.
Oh, yeah, the only thing I remember about the bridge part is Bumblebee taking a whiz on John Turturro,
Yes. I hated that scene.
because that's the thing that they want you to remember.
That is, unfortunately.
So the Q filers, they end up trying to tackle him, and they end up wrestling the device away from him, and they end up shutting down the Garamon. And with each Garamon, they end up, oh, this was really weird.
Mm-hmm.
So when they end up falling over, quote unquote, asleep or dead, their tongues explode, and out come like this
Like
giant amount of
like foam.
bile and saliva and
Yeah.
this other stuff where it just like starts pouring out. Like it's not blood, it's just this other stuff, and it's so weird looking. It's just like,
It's a
why?
weird way to go.
And yeah, and then the man in black, he tries running away, and then I think it's June who ends up shooting him in the back, which is pretty fucked up,
Yeah.
but whatever. He ends up shooting him in the back. As they went to go check on the man, he ends up coming back out, and he's an alien. He's actually a cicada human, and
Cicada.
that's how Kamen Rider was
It
born.
is. Yeah, he had like a
But
plastic suit on. It was really weird.
well, it's still a human.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still an alien, but yeah, he had like this a rubber mask on to make it, like an alien mask. What he meant by plastic suit was like it looked like saran wrapped raincoat, basically.
Yeah. It looked like he was like going out for like a dinner and
Pretty
it
much.
was just a clear plastic suit.
Yeah, it was very weird. I mean, it was cool, but then Christian, you tell the very end because I thought this was cool.
So because he failed his mission, the cicada man, so like he's walking into the lake and like a UFO comes down. And as he's walking towards that UFO, the UFO just vaporizes him and just blows him up.
And then it leaves.
Then it leaves. It just leaves, yeah. It's his punishment for failing the mission.
I'm like, that's pretty cool.
It was.
I did not expect that. And honestly, I feel like this is something that's going to be setting up because you have to think that this is all just set up because they had to think they were going to go ahead and do Ultraman after all this.
Yeah.
That this all had to been set up for Ultraman.
Oh yeah, this was just a big prequel.
Yeah, absolutely. I really enjoyed this episode. I thought it was good, especially considering that we got Garamon, and Garamon was one of the goofiest looking creatures from before and died by drowning.
Yeah, it looked better.
So
It was a better episode.
it definitely was. So next one, unless you happen to have any other things you want to say about that last episode,
I just hope they don't bring back the Garamon.
we're gonna definitely get him again. Just probably not for this show.
The next one was my
Um,
favorite.
okay. Well, if it was your favorite, you better fucking talk about it.
This one I do because this one was cool. This was like a true Twilight Zone episode.
So
1/8 project.
so is that like you're asking for an eighth of a gram or what?
So like we have a group project, and I'm just only gonna do an eighth of it. Does that sound good?
Well, that's just two of us. You're leaving me with seven
Yeah,
eighths.
you got this.
Man, fuck your pizza.
This is in, I don't know, they don't really explain if this is like the future or what, but it seems like it's current time. But there's a project going on. It's called the 1/8 project, where they shrink people down to 1/8 of their normal size. And it's like that one movie with Matt Damon that I didn't like.
What?
There's a movie with Matt Damon where they do the same shit.
You lost me on that one.
Anyways, fuck it. Because that movie was boring. But
Yeah, if anybody could actually like when we bring this up and someone wants to post a comment or something, please let us know because I don't fucking know this one.
yeah, it's a movie. It is kind of, I don't like it. Anyways, continuing. So this is to prevent the urban overcrowding of like cities and stuff, where they can live on a smaller scale.
Which is kind of a decent idea.
It is, but it gets worse. But anyways, so Yuriko, she is going to investigate it just to get I guess she's trying to get an idea or just trying to figure out what's going on with it. She ends up being pushed by a whole crowd into like an elevator, and she ends up getting turned smaller. And you had to sign up for it and everything. And
Oh, that's right, because she was just trying to investigate to figure out like what the whole deal was in the first place.
yeah,
And the moment that, they told her what the whole deal for, the 1/8 project was, she's like, "Well, I don't want to do that. I want to be big.
yeah, she didn't want to.
Like I want to be the biggest person
Be
here."
a big guy.
And they're like, go in the elevator," and then they just pushed her and pushed her, and then she's not big anymore. She's a small girl.
Yeah, she's small. So she becomes small, but because she never registered, she was essentially pushed into like the rooms and everything. They had arrested her, which was kind of funny. It was just like, we noticed you don't have a passport. Get in the box. And they like lower a little box down for her to
Get in the box, Yuri. Get in the box, Yuri.
Get in the box. Get in the box, Yuri, or else Ippy-kun's gonna have to pilot the box again.
Oh my god. That's for you, David.
You're welcome. But anyways, so they end up putting her in the box, and there's like seats in the box too. It's just not like a tin box. I'm like, okay, they're considerate.
It's like a little Barbie box.
It looks like the Tower of Terror like seats. Like it almost looks like that whole contraption.
Yeah.
But anyways, they put her in like a jail cell with a regular person who almost eats her because he's so hungry.
That's the weird thing is that they wake him up and basically put her in there because they're like, yeah, you're there because we want you to eat her.
Well,
Like that was going to be, she wasn't going to trial or anything. They just put her in
they
there.
put her in there, but he was really hungry. So the thing with this guy was he was too big to shrink down. So they put him in that cell to make him lose weight.
Which is so weird.
It was so like, it's just kind of a really random thing to listen. And she's like,
It was.
she's just like, I need to get out of here.
This is one of the more bizarre episodes, but I enjoyed it. Continue.
The guy ends up helping her out. He like straps a piece of his suspender on the box, and then like it almost seems like he chucks her out a window, but he just like puts her in like a river that's on the other side of a cell, like on the window part of the cell.
Yeah, because he lowers her and then all of a sudden just starts rolling down.
Yeah, and she's just going down like this rapid. And then she's found by like a bunch of kids who like pick up the box and start shaking it. It was so weird.
Now, before we go any further, when she initially wakes up as a little person, because let's be honest, she was a little person at that point.
Yeah.
When she initially wakes up, she's basically like in a hospital bed, and she's surrounded by these three people who are like, "Hey, we don't want to give anybody names. You're gonna have to forget your old life. You're gonna be given a number." She's like, I don't want a number. Right? That's too long. That's like trying to memorize a phone number. Screw that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then they bring in her stuff, and her stuff is super large compared to her.
Her camera and her pencil.
Right. It was so cool. It's like this is like going to back in the day for over at Disney World. The Hollywood Studios used to be MGM over at the Honey I Shrunk the Kids area.
Yeah.
Where you get to see all that big stuff. It was just like that. I was like, that's really neat.
Yeah, they're like because we don't want people to have the same name in this new society, we're gonna give everybody a number. That way everybody has a different number. I'm like, that is
But what was
stupid.
What was really weird about that is when they all look at her and they're all smiling and nodding their head. They zoomed in on everybody's faces, and they're just like, uh-huh,
Hmm.
uh-huh, uh-huh. And it was the creepiest looks that you could ever get from that. I'm like, oh my
It
God.
was a little creepy, yeah. And so she ends up being
Um,
found in that box by like two nuns
yeah.
who end up delivering her back to June's office, and she's
Which is weird. Like,
yeah.
why did they end up taking her to the office? Did she say take me there or what?
I think yeah, that's what she was trying to get in contact with June. Tell him, hey, I'm small. I am small.
Okay, that's right.
And so she ends up going there. Hopefully she could find a way to get big, but I think there's only like maybe like a few minute interaction.
No, there's like no interaction with her whatsoever.
Oh well, yeah. So she's hiding. I guess I don't know if she was scared or what, but she was hiding behind a photo of herself. And Ipe was like trying to figure out where she went, and then
Yeah,
that's
because
when
he's absolutely in love with her.
yeah, and that's where Ipe and June went to go look for her at the S13 area, or no, the 1/8 project. I guess they call it.
No, you're also forgetting. They said that June or Ipe has been not Ipe, damn it, Yuri-chan has been missing for like 7 days at that
Oh
point. They're
yeah,
like, well, she's missing. Time for you to forget about her. Like,
that's what it
damn,
was.
June,
Yeah,
that's cold as shit.
yeah, and so she calls on the phone to June, and he's like, "It's Yuriko, like I'm here," and he's like, "I don't want to talk to a ghost," and then hangs up.
Yeah, that was fucked up.
It was, but this is where it got pretty cool. So June and Ipe end up going to the area S13 where all the small people are, and they're just essentially two big guys running around a miniature city.
Wait. Two big
Two big
guys?
guys, not huge, but big guys.
Yeah, buddy. Um, so what you're saying is that this is basically a reverse kaiju scenario.
Pretty much, because you don't really see that a whole lot. They're not. They're
No.
regular people just in a smaller world.
How much destruction they accidentally cause is so astounding.
Yeah, I think Ipe was just trying to squeeze behind between like two buildings and then ends up breaking it or something, or like trampling like a small little section of it away. And they're like
And then like
yelling
when
for Yuriko, and everybody's running.
yeah. And then when like he's trying to get to the power line, like he's just he puts his hand on it and goes ah!
Yeah,
He
he shocks
destroys one
himself.
of
That's
them.
right.
Yeah.
And
It was a good moment.
yeah, it was pretty cool. I like that whole scene. It was done well. It was interesting to see that kind of change from big monsters to just a
Hmm.
big guy, and then
So
continuing
this
from
is the
there.
final act here.
So Yuriko's there at the S13, and they end up finding her. And this is where I kind of don't really remember a whole lot. So they end up
Well,
locating
not
her.
not too much happens after that.
Yeah, so she ends up being located, and then she was trampled, running away or something like that.
Well, yeah, so basically they want to take her away. That way they can try to help her and get her back to normal
Yeah,
size. And she's like, no, no, nobody wanted me back where I was.
yep.
Nobody cares about me. I don't want to go. I'm going to stay here because at least everybody here is kind. You can't make me go back. Then, like, she decides to run away. They try to chase after her. And then, since everybody's still running away from the two big guys, they end up trampling her and then she gets knocked out.
Yeah, that was a weird scene because it's just people running in front of her, and she's just behind them, like, a
It's also kind of anxiety inducing a little
little
bit
bit, yeah.
because that's like a big fear of people when it comes to being in like large spaces like that, but with
Crowds.
tons of people there.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, just being trampled. That's like think about it like when it comes to Black Friday, shopping.
Oh yeah.
Whenever they like have those mall openings, ugh,
God, I
I
remember
couldn't
it. Yeah, you can
imagine.
watch videos of that stuff. It's scary to see.
Yeah, that's exactly how I equated to that. That's messed up.
So she gets
But how does
trampled
it end?
and she passes out and she wakes up in a hospital bed. And next to her are Jun and Ipe, regular size, or at least proportionate to her. So she thought, oh, you guys are small now. Now we could be together. I won't be lonely. And then they're like, we don't know what you're talking about. And turns out the whole thing was a dream.
That's what annoyed me. Because what I wanted was for that to be something substantial. Like, I wanted her to actually have, like, found a way for them to say, hey, because of all the other strange shit that's happening in this universe, I want them to find a way to actually make her big again. Like, I wanted them to find out. And I also wanted her to go back to that jail cell
Oh,
and
yeah.
make that guy small and give him a steak. But it was mainly just to find a way to make her big again. By the way, I ended up looking up on that wiki for this episode, and somebody pointed out the Matt Damon movie. It's called Downsizing.
That's what it is. Yeah.
It's got a decent cast though, so
Yeah.
but it did get pretty low reviews.
But yeah, I don't know. I like that kind of. It's like it's of course like Lost, where it's all a dream or whatever, or they're all dead. Of course, it's like a super cop out thing to do, but I don't know. It kind of worked for this, being that like
I mean, it does, but it's because it didn't give me what I wanted that I was annoyed. It still doesn't take away from the fact that it's a good episode.
it was definitely the best one so far with like the last
Oh,
ones that we've watched.
oh yeah, absolutely. Which then gives us the final episode of this one. You want me to do this one?
Yeah, this one was kind of poopy, and I don't remember it a whole lot.
You got it, Christian. I will take this one for you.
Thanks, All Might.
Anyways, I'm not gonna do that again. This one's called The Rainbow's Egg. This is number 18 of our Ultra Q series. Rainbow's Egg. Pray tell, what is The Rainbow's Egg about? So, the very first thing that I can tell you is it's about these truckers who are on a giant mountain road and they end up picking up this bamboo flower, which could be a sign for bad omens.
Yeah.
As they're driving away, this giant turtle dragon just pops out of the ground, starts breathing fire, and it knocks over their truck. I'm like, oh shit, they're dead. and but they're not in the truck apparently, because the moment that that happens, they get knocked over too, and it's two little action figures falling down the mountain.
Yeah, they were carrying uranium, I think. That's what it was.
That's what it was. Okay, I wasn't paying attention at that point.
Yeah.
I was too busy laughing at the fact that it was two
Oh,
action figures that
it
were
looked
falling
so
down. It
funny,
was
yeah.
so funny.
That was like something from
But
like
it's like,
Action League Now.
right? And I'm like, you know what? That's a really good start to this episode. What do we get next? We get kids.
We get kids.
And what did I say the last time when we talked about kids?
It could be a hit or miss kind of episode.
Yep. And what was this episode?
Fucking wide left, complete miss.
Yep.
And one of the kids has like a weird, I don't know if he was like sick or what, but he's like, like he
He's
had
like Froggy, except
yeah,
he really couldn't talk.
he sounded like shit. Like it was just
And so
terrible.
the other kid just repeated for him.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know if that led to anything, why he sounded like that, but I was like, it's just such a weird character choice to make. Or unless
I
that's
don't
just
know,
really how he
man.
sounded.
So weird. Anyways, there's a whole lot of kids that are in this episode, and they're all busy playing around. I guess I don't know if they're actually like related, but I think they might be part of an orphanage.
Yeah.
And they have this elderly woman that they live with that they call grandmother. Um, and they end up hearing about this story called the rainbow's egg, which the grandmother says that, you know, if you find a rainbow's egg along with this bamboo flower, you could basically get any wish granted as long as you end up getting that rainbow's egg.
Yeah.
So the main girl, she decides that she wants to go and find this rainbow's egg. You know what this main girl's name was?
I don't remember.
Pico.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it was Pico. Yeah, because I was like, for some reason, I thought Pico de Gallo.
I was thinking Pokemon for some reason. I don't know why. It's messed up on my part. So they're busy trying to like find this shit, and then all of a sudden the giant, which we find out from the Q filers,
Q filers. I like that more.
which Q filers? Thank you. There is a disturbance being underground that's causing all this, you know, mountain shit by a monster called Pagos. Now, here's my thing. They were talking about this monster being some sort of documented disturbance from before when it had never showed up ever.
Oh, yeah, no, it's.
This is the first thing, and it's like you kind of make it seem like that we should already know about it, and then you're just thrusting us in.
So,
I don't like that already.
yeah, I guess it was like first researched as like it was ravaging Beijing and feeding on its uranium or something like that, but like it was never actually really seen to begin with.
Right. And it's like, why are we now talking about? I don't know. I don't like the way that it was thrust in.
Yeah.
It felt really weird to me.
And it had a Godzilla
Anyways,
roar. It had a.
It had an almost Godzilla
It was like
roar.
lower
Like,
and then
it was
cut
like,
off at the end.
Yep, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Which I noticed, which was actually one of the cooler parts of this episode.
It sounded cool.
When Pico was out and about trying to find the egg, she actually found this egg, which was this big golden thing which had chains on it.
Yeah, it looked like a bomb. I thought it was a bomb for a second.
I
Like
mean,
one of those underwater
I,
ones, like the
I'm looking at the egg right now, and all it says is "quote unquote" egg. So I don't think it was an actual
it was
egg.
egg. It egg.
And so Pico, she ends up trying to like save it from being either eaten or squished by this Pagos monster.
Yeah.
And so she ends up rolling it into this giant hole in the ground. And as it's walking over her, which was a really cool effect because it was basically like shifted perspective
Mm-hmm.
where you could see the monster walking over that particular hole.
Yeah.
And you hear the screech that you mentioned where it's like toned down and cut off. And you can see like all the different like ground shaking and everything else that's affecting her. And she's screaming, but she's trying to keep herself, safe.
Yeah.
That was really cool for that effect. I'm like, oh damn, that
Yeah.
that actually like instills
It
fear.
looked really cool. It was well put together. It was.
And I'm also not knocking the actual suit for Pagos either. Pagos was actually a legit cool looking monster.
Yeah, it reminded
Um,
me of Baragon, like in a way, with like if like Baragon and Anguirus had a kid. It looked just
I
like
mean,
that.
I'll give you that. I'll probably look that up later. You're gonna have to give me the spelling for it. That way I can find pictures and post it into our video files. In case y'all haven't noticed, in our video versions, I've actually been posting pictures of the things that we've been talking about. So just a heads up in case you actually want to take a look at the videos.
Yeah.
But anyways, when it comes to that, it starts off kind of like with that turtle one that we watched, the one that you don't like,
Ugh.
where he's on all fours.
Yeah.
But then when he stands up, he's still pretty menacing.
It was actually he was a lot taller than I expected, but it looked good.
So the Q filers end up getting in contact with the government, and they're like, "Hey, we need to bring this down." And the kids, they're like, "No, no, you can't do it. Pico's out there." Except first, it's Froggy. No, no, you can't do it.
God, he sounded
Pico's
so
out there.
crappy.
And then his little friend's like, "Okay, now I get to do it." No, no, Pico's out there. You better not do it.
Yep.
It's like, all right, whatever. But they end up doing it anyway.
Yeah, right.
And they end up launching missiles at this thing. And this is where it kills me because it's just like, it just so dumb. It's so, so dumb. Do you remember what happened?
So they launched some missiles at it, and it's like drenched in like radioactive fallout, and then it just turns into a rock. It like solidifies it, and then it falls over, and then just like fucking explodes.
Yeah.
It was
Like it starts cracking like as if it were like a bunch of glass with the really, I'm not gonna say that it was bad animation, but considering the time,
is
the
cheap.
way it looks now, it looks bad and cheap.
Yeah,
It looks like really bad glass cracking animation.
yeah. It looked like like
Um,
almost like if somebody was trying to animate like sugar glass.
Yeah, exactly that. And then it just falls over and then like just disintegrates.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, okay, we're done. It's just like that's it.
Oh, one other thing. So we're talking about the little girl and her family of orphan kids and the grandmother, quote unquote. Her wish is that once she finds the rainbow egg, the grandmother who is unable to walk, she wants her to be able to walk again.
Yeah.
And so she ends up finding the rainbow egg, and at the very end, she's trying to get it over back to the orphanage, and they end up bringing the grandmother over in a wheelchair. And the grandmother suddenly stands up. It's like, oh
Yeah,
shit, this
she's
bitch has been lying.
yeah, she's lying. She was just being lazy. That's what it was. She was able to walk the whole time.
Yeah,
She didn't want to have to deal with them kids.
yeah, because there's no way that was an actual rainbow egg.
No,
And it's like, come
it was a
on.
bomb. That's what it was. It was not an egg.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the trivia for this one. It says originally Gomez was planned to appear in the episode instead of Pagos' place.
I would have
However, due to
enjoyed that more.
Tsubaraya being forced to return to the Godzilla suit back to Toho, Pagos was created in its place thanks to the Baragon suit being loaned by Toho. There you go, Baragon.
Oh,
The Baragon suit was also later adapted for the Ultraman monsters Naranga, Magular, and Gabora.
oh, Gabra.
Gabra.
Gabra was cool. Gabra beat the shit out of Manila.
Why is Gabora? But
Why is
anyways, the episode, it's not terrible.
it's just
It's
boring?
so-so. It wavers. Like it starts off strong, especially because it has that really like unsettling opening, which is also really funny at the same time because of the way that the effects were done.
Mm-hmm.
But
They're
the
annoying.
kids make it worse.
And also that froggy kid. There's that scene where I guess he has to get eggs from like the chickens, and
What
he's
the?
like
Oh my god! I forgot about that.
he's
What the fuck was up with
he's
that?
making the noise. You take your finger and put in your mouth and you pop it, And that's what he's doing in front of all the chickens, and they're all just
Stop
laying
finger popping
eggs.
each other's blowholes.
Exactly, finger popping each other's assholes. But that's what he's doing for like a good minute, and it's just like, what the fuck?
I forgot about that. I even wrote it down, and I'm like, why?
It's
I
such a
haven't
weird
looked at my
thing
notes
that,
this
yeah,
entire time because I remembered
he's
everything,
just walking
except
around, and
that.
it's just, I'm like, okay.
It's so dumb. Like they legit spend a minute on that. It's like there's no point to this. There's legit no point.
That one scene
Ugh.
just stuck out, and I was just like, why? Why does this need to be
Yeah,
there?
it's dumb. It's really dumb.
Very.
But out of all the terrible ones, this one's still towards the top of the terrible ones because it's not absolutely terrible. It's not bad, but it's not good, is what I'm trying to
Yeah,
say.
it's in the middle. It's just it's a funny watch, but
Especially for the beginning. That beginning's great.
yeah, I like the beginning a lot. Like some of them will start out so good and they'll have like a cool beginning, and then it's just like, oh, what the fuck did I just watch for 20 minutes?
Right? But even so, I'm glad that we're finally getting into the weird territory because that episode that we watched where it was all about Yuri-chan being small, the 1/8 project, oh, that was so good. We need more shit like that.
That was like a, I
I
think I told you it was like a Black Mirror and like a Twilight Zone episode put together.
Yeah, absolutely. Bar the ending is really good. Really, really
Yeah,
good.
and I think now we're almost at the half, or no, we're more than halfway now because there's what 28 episodes.
I think so. I just had it up. Hang on. I was actually curious earlier today because I saw that they actually remade Ultra Q. I guess it might have been like a sequel series. Yeah, there's 28 episodes.
Okay.
Yeah, so they actually made like another recent Ultra Q series.
Hmm.
Oh, they also made a 1990 movie.
1990 movie.
Yeah.
Do I dare watch this?
I mean, eventually, but we're not including this as part of the Ultra Q series that we're, talking about right now.
No, I'm looking up to see if I could find the movie on Tokuzilla.
Let's see, because I'm looking to see what else that they have on here for Ultra
So
Q
that's
as well.
Neo
Just to,
Ultra Q, which was in 2013. Ultra Q
that's it.
Dark Fantasy. Ultra Q or Neo Ultra Q's 12 episodes. Dark Fantasy's 21.
12? Holy shit, that's not bad.
And they have Shin Ultraman on here.
Well, duh, but we're gonna own that retail, so
I am.
that's whatever.
I'm gonna buy 8 copies.
You're not.
Such a great movie. But yeah,
But
we're finishing this up, and hopefully, and sooner or later, I'll finish Lost Galaxy whenever I want to, because it's kind of boring.
now I want to bring this up because I know that I brought this up to you personally. Isn't it true that when you started out watching Lost Galaxy, you absolutely loved it?
Yeah, so like I remember growing up and really enjoying it, and I was just like, damn, like watching it now, I'm like, this is kind of boring.
Yeah, it wasn't until I said something basically.
And like, I think the only thing I really care for is just the Zords. The
The
Galacta
Zords are
Beasts are
cool.
very cool looking, and like I told you, the gorilla one is based off of the 78 King Kong film, the one with Jessica Lange and the other guy, not the 78 76 film with
Jack Black?
no, Jeff Bridges. I don't
Oh,
like the
okay.
Jack Black one. It's boring
How dare you not like the Jack Black one?
because it takes forever to do anything, and it's boring, and I don't like the way that. I mean, I understand what who was it? Not James Cameron. Peter Jackson was trying to do, but like he looks too much like an ape. He doesn't like
Mm,
really stand up like in the King Kong movie.
I'll give you that. I do kind of want to rewatch Godzilla vs Kong again,
It's a
especially since that
fantastic
anime just came out, didn't it?
Skull Island. Yeah, I gotta watch that. But Godzilla vs Kong is a fantastic movie.
Yes, it is. I don't care what other people
I
say.
love it.
It was good, even if it has a shitty third act. But anyways,
Man, that Mecha Godzilla is cool.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the fact with the ancillary characters who don't need to be there
Oh yeah, of
and who are
course.
only there to
I mean, you could.
pour shit on the control panel for 1 second.
Oh, I mean, you could say that with any Godzilla movie, though. It's like, are you really gonna sit there and tell me, "Oh, I watched Godzilla for the plot"?
Yes,
Shut up,
Shin Godzilla.
because that's a great ass movie, and it's actually got a better plot than all the other ones.
That still doesn't make my point any less of a point.
Again, who watches Godzilla movies for the plot?
Motherfucker, I will end this podcast.
Do it. I dare you.
Click. All right. Well, that's all I got for today,
Catch
guys.
us again
If
next
you have
time.
any questions or concerns, just leave a comment, like, subscribe, do what you gotta. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're on the
We're on
YouTubes.
OnlyFans.
We're not on OnlyFans. We're on Lonely Fans. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
No,
no.
just kidding. But no, we're on all pretty much all the social medias, the important ones, not all the, new ones that are cropping up because,
It's too many.
people hate Elon Musk.
Yeah.
But yeah, just look for us, Toku for Two. You know where to find us.
Yep.
If anything, I'm Kensukeri.
Chris, thank you for watching this or listening or watching this podcast for the next viewer. Have a good day.